So I've been working together with the guys over at Tangent Wave to add support for all the hardware panels inside Hiero, NukeStudio, and Nuke. And for those of you who don't know, Tangent is a company that creates hardware panels, usually for grading and editorial, but it has a huge potential inside the VFX industry. And the reason is that rather than having sort of a mouse and a keyboard and moving your focus from whatever you're working on down to some software knobs and constantly moving your focus back and forth. Once you familiarize yourself with where the different controls are, it just becomes much more natural, and you can focus your attention on what you're actually working on, and control things, even multiple things at once, rather than having to distract yourself from whatever you're doing. Another thing is that when you're inside Nuke or NukeStudio, is that if you have your mouse over here, then suddenly your JKL hotkeys no longer work for playback. So you have to move your mouse. It has to be in the right position in order for the playback to work. And when you have a hardware panel, you can just hit play, and it will play no matter where your mouse is. And you can even just close the soft effect and still be able to control it if you like. Even if when you go into full screen and you cannot see the controls, you can just easily do your corrections here. It's not for everyone. There's certainly a certain cost involved, and but if you're a guy who works in NukeStudio or Hiero, or just a supervisor, maybe I think it makes a lot of sense to have a hardware panel. But this is the element panel. It consists of 4 individual elements that can be purchased as the entirety or individually. So this, for example, is the button panel. They're connected with small magnets down here, so we can just pull them back together here. And so this one contains the buttons, sort of good hotkeys. This one contains the dials, rotary dials. And this one is the trackballs. And over here we have the multifunction, which is playback controls and things like that, and just regular functions. They also have other panels, like the Ripple, which is sort of an affordable version of the trackball setup here. They have the Wave, which is sort of a combination of all these panels together in one. And then they have the iPad version of the element setup, so you can just test it out in there. But this is sort of the way I have set it up. I have over here, I have the time code that I'm on right now. So once I hit play, it updates, and it's extremely useful when you're on full screen, because then you can still see what time you're on if you're on a single display. And just underneath that, you can see what track you have selected. So right now I go over here. It says I have video 1 selected, and the soft effect that is selected is grade 26. That's this one. If I move to the next track, video 2, you can see that video 2 has been selected, but there's no soft effect on that track, so it just says none. So if I create a transform there, you can see that it selects the transform automatically. So let me just delete those soft effects and create a new one, because over here we have all the soft effects. It is the transform, mirror, crop, grade, color correct, CDL, blot, color space, time warp, and the chroma key. And so if I want to add a transform, I just hit transform, and it's actually on the wrong track here, so let me just delete that one, move to the next track and create it there. So as you can see, once I created the UI updates here, we have the translate, X and Y, rotate, scale, skew and center. If you had only this panel, you can control them there, but if you only had this panel, you can also control the rotation and translate and scale over here if you like to. So that means that you don't have to have all the panels. You can just say, okay, I only want this one, and I still have the control for all the soft effect parameters, at least with these two. So let me just delete that one and create grade instead. So right now I have up here, I have the black point, white point, and offset. So this is the red, green, and blue. So if I like, I can take the black point, the red from the black point here. Actually, maybe it's better to show on the next one here. If I create a grade, oh, the right track here. That was not it. There we go. And so if I take the black point here down, you can see just for the red. If I hit the button here, it will reset. So if I make any changes that I don't like, I just reset them individually. I have an alternate that lets me control both the red, green, and blue at the same time. So this is just sort of the black point slider, white point slider, and the offset. And they can be reset as well. Over here we have the trackballs for doing grading. This is the lift, the gamma, and the gain. And so this is sort of the delta here. And as I move these around, you can see here the user interface will update with the actual numeric value that I'm on right now. I can reset just the luminance if I like by pressing here. I can reset the chrominance by clicking here. And that is for, this for the lift, the gamma, and the gain. So if I, make it blue down here and just crank up the luminance, I can just reset the luminance but still have the chrominance that I have done. And inside here I also have an alternate and a secondary bank. It contains the black point here, the white point, and the offset. And that's pretty much it. If I do a CDL here, it's slope, power, and offset. If I hold down the alternate, I have the saturation here. And so it makes a lot of sense to have, and it's quite simple. And the really powerful thing about this is that it uses the tangent software mapper that allows you to map any control to any button here. And so what you have in here is you can select what mode you are in. And mode is sort of if I have a grade, then the grade controls will come forth. And if I have the CDL controls will come forth. So up here I can pick between the grade, and if I look here, I have the CDL over here. And so for each individual panel, this is the TK, the multifunction, the rotary dials, and the buttons. And so if I want to add some controls, let's say I want to add for the grade. So when I have a grade selected, let me just, there we go. Down here we have some buttons that I don't really use for anything right now. So let me say I wanted to add the luminance for both black, white, and offset. And so to do that, I can just look up my KB here. I can go down to the bottom row and say inside here, right now it's set to no mapping. I can set control, soft effects, grading node. As you can see, there are quite a few controls in here. So the grading node and the black point luminance. And now I can control the black point luminance here, if I like. I can also update the name, so that you call it black point. It's limited to 9 characters. So now it says black point. And as you can see, when I change it, it doesn't update the value down here. So what I can do is I can go in here and set the display type to number. And now it updates with the value down here. And if I don't like the sensitivity of this, if I want more sensitivity, I can change the sensitivity of the knob in here as well. So it could be very sensitive if I like to. And so this is available for every single knob inside the interface. So it makes it extremely powerful. And again, I'm still trying to figure out what kind of controls I want to make available. But other than that, I think it's pretty much ready to go.